I was at Disney World once, one of my favorite places, and I was stressed out of my mind. Not because of the lines or because of how expensive everything was, but because my phone was going off. All of my clients' websites were down, my server had gone down, and even though I was miles away, not in front of a computer, I felt this panic that I had to fix it right now. And mind you, my websites are not mission critical, massive e-commerce, government benefits websites. They were mostly informational sites, and I was the first one to notice before my clients did, which you want, but nobody was calling me and yelling at me. I realized right there, standing in the happiest place on earth, that my business didn't give me freedom. And I was chained to my phone, my desk, my computer, even when I was on vacation. That's why I'm really excited to talk to Liz Wilcox today. I've made massive changes in my business, especially since becoming a dad. But Liz, the fresh princess of email marketing, has built a $500,000 business on a $9 membership. Even better, she made $100,000 while taking 100 days off. She did it by designing a business that serves her life, not the other way around. And this is the mission that I try to serve on this podcast. So if you're tired of your business running you, you absolutely need to hear how Liz went from delivering an entire membership via Google Docs to setting up a system to allow her to take 3 months off every single summer. Liz Wilcox is an absolute delight. I loved talking to her. I don't think I've laughed as much as I have in any interview than I have with her. So definitely listen to this episode. Join her mailing list. It's excellent. We'll get into that in a minute. But first, let's get to the intro. Look, you're trying to grow your small business while still having a life and not losing your sanity. On Streamlined Solopreneur, we help small business owners grow without burning out through simple, powerful online automations and systems. I know you're busy, so let's get started. All right, I am here with Liz Wilcox, the fresh princess of email marketing. Liz, thanks for being here.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Let's talk.
Let's talk. And I want to dive right into it. And I want to ask you, you have a $9 per month membership. And you say that you keep that $9 promise. Where did the $9 come from? And why are you so ardent about keeping that promise?
Yeah, so listen, y'all, I grew up super poor. And even when I started my business, I was committed, right? But who wasn't committed? My bank account, my then husband. That both of them were like, oh, I don't know about this. This sounds like a scam. This sounds like a harebrained idea or whatever the saying is. And so when I eventually started making it and figuring out this online thing, and I started teaching email marketing, I realized that, I'm not the only one that has this dream of making it online, but also doesn't have a bank account to really reflect that dream, right? And so with the $9 price tag, I really wanted to reach the maximum amount of people. A lot of people say, oh, you don't want to work with beginners. You want to work with people that are already making money, that can afford you, and, you're high value. And y'all, I know I'm high value. I know that I bring a lot to the table, so to speak, the email marketing table, the inbox, if you will. But I also know that people are people and circumstances are real. They're not excuses. And I actually love working with beginners. I have a background in education. I think simple is my superpower. So I knew that I could reach a wider, broader, and even more beginner audience. And so that $9 price tag kind of encapsulates all of that. If you're just starting out, this is really going to be for you, not only price-wise, but Liz is really good at breaking down complicated concepts so you can just get started. And I love my $9 price tag. I've been sending renewal emails this month like, hey, your subscription is about to renew for your annual. And people are emailing like, well, what's the price this year? And I've been so surprised because I'm like, well, the price hasn't gone up in almost 5 years. The price is the price, baby. And people have just been so surprised and delighted, especially in 2025, that the price is not going up. And also something about that it just makes me smile. Maybe you're not watching the video of this, but I am beaming to be able to say, yes, even in 2025 and beyond, I don't have to raise my price. And, I can pass that on to my customers. It feels so good.
So I love that you do keep this $9 price, because I think you're serving an audience and having that fixed cost and confidence in having that fixed cost is really important for small business owners, especially. So did you have a big audience when you launched this membership?
No, sir. So when I launched the membership, I was about a year into growing my email list. So I had about 800 people on the list. And I launched it. The day I thought about it was the day I launched it. I was like, enough.
Love that.
Let's do it, baby. Let's do it. And I said, hey, literally, my friend, the subject line was, can I have $9? And I was just looking for anyone, looking to test if this was even a good idea, right? And so I said, hey, it's $9. Here's what's going to be included: weekly newsletter templates, a live Q&A, maybe some other things as we move down the road. It's $9, not because it's crap, but because I want you to trust me enough to just, start this new thing. And we launched it to launched it to 800 people. Me and my dream, that's we. We launched it to about 800 people. And in the first 24 hours, we had made over 30 sales. In the first 4 weeks, we sold 100. So that's when I knew, okay, I'm onto something. Let's go.
That's awesome. And then was that mostly, do you sell per month and annually, or do you just sell like annual breaks down to $9 a month?
Yeah. So when I first launched, it was just $9 a month. And about 9 months later, it was Black Friday. And I thought, what could I do for Black Friday? Oh, I could have like an annual rate. Most people do an annual rate. It's like their price times 10 months, right? So you get 2 months for free. But I wanted that $108, 9 times 12, right? I didn't want to go. It's already so wicked cheap, right?
Right.
I didn't want to go under $100. So I said, well, what if I just did, 9 times 12, $108? And what if you just got all my other trainings for free, right? Kind of like Costco, right? That's what I stole the idea from Costco, come at me. And, it was, when you pay for a Costco membership, it's like $60, right? They don't make any money off anything but their memberships, right? That's why it's called Costco. They're selling everything at cost, okay? They're not making any money off of you buying a TV there, right? But they're making money off the membership fee. So I said, okay, the membership fee, so to speak, for LizWilcox.com is going to be $108. You get access to the membership. You get everything else for free, workshops, courses, accountability, all that stuff. And, over the last 5 years, I've built onto that. It's, now over $2,000 worth of stuff, and that's great. So to Joe's question, I do the monthly, and that's available all day, every day. You could go sign up right now for $9. And then I do the annual that, Costco-esque, like, hey, buy the membership and you get everything else, right? That's only 3 times a year. I do that in March for my birthday, like a birthday sale. I do a Christmas and July sale. And then, of course, Black Friday.
Nice. Love that. Cool. And so I want to really drive home the point here that you launched to a list of 800 people. And then a few weeks later, you had made $900, essentially. Right?
Amen.
Yeah, that's
cool.
Right? That's amazing. That's my dream. I want to do exactly what you did, and I just don't think I have. I mean, I've changed niches a bunch in the last couple of years, which is probably part of it. But how do you think those people who bought that first time were just like, yeah, I'll give Liz $9? Like, how have you nurtured them up until that point to make them realize how insanely valuable $9 is?
Yeah. So number one, I know my customer or my potential customer. I came from an RV travel background. I owned an RV travel site. So I was a blogger essentially, right? YouTuber, content creator, all that. And I know that the last thing they want to do is write an email. Right. It's like, well, I just created all this content. I spent all day, setting up my, stuff to record. I'm exhausted. Now I got to send an email. Right? Like, what do I even say? I don't want to spam people. So I knew that was a really big problem, right? And then as far as nurturing goes, I sent that weekly newsletter, right? I was consistent. I showed them, hey, I actually know how to write a newsletter. And the proof is in the pudding because you opened this one, right? And I know you opened last week too, and you've been clicking. Sources say you've clicked, right? So really nurturing as far as, even just a weekly newsletter was what I was doing at the time. I had sold a couple one-off worksheets and workshops before. So I had a few customers on the list at that point. But really just being consistent, showing up for them, providing value. And that's not just to say, giving everything away for free. Even, hosting a $20 to $100 workshop is providing value, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just doing those things. And then when I launched, really knowing the customer, right? Knowing that they loved a little bit of my snarkiness. Can I have $9 as the subject line, right? Like, oh, whoa, this lady is something else, right? Knowing that, $9 is appealing to a lot of them because I know that I'm attracting beginners because I am able to break things down so simply. Knowing that as content creators, as membership site owners, as course creators, the last thing that's on the list is email marketing because, it's not as in your face as other things like social media, YouTube, etc. So a combination of that, I think, was sort of a perfect storm of, getting those first 30, those first 100 people in.
Yeah. And so what I'm really hearing here is understanding your audience and building trust that you deliver, right? Like, yes, you launched it kind of, I don't want to say on a whim, but you decided and then launched it that day. But you're not like some fly by night. It didn't come off as, hey, I'm trying to squeeze money out of you, right?
Right. That's absolutely correct. Y'all, you've got to be consistent with your audience. And even just transparent behind the scenes stuff. If you're like Joe, someone who has, switched topics a few times, even just being transparent about that. Mm-hmm. Hey, I was super passionate about this. XYZ happened. Now I want to talk to you about this, right? People will be and can be along for the ride, but you've just got to be super transparent. And that's another thing that I think I do really well is just sharing the journey where most people think, oh, they don't care. They just want to learn about ABC. Really, they want to learn about ABC through and by you, right? You being a major component of it. So you being transparent about what's going on, why you're doing something, why you're charging $9, all those things I put in that email. It's $9, not because I think it's going to be crap, but because I just want you to take a chance on me, right? Mm-hmm. This is the way I'm going because I don't want to take clients forever. I even said, I want to get 100 people in the first 30 days. Maybe you'll be one of those 100. I would love that. Hit reply if you need to know more information before joining the 100, right? So sharing that behind the scenes, sharing how you're invested so other people can invest as well. Oh my gosh, it's glorious.
Yeah, I just want to reinforce what you said there because like when I launched my newsletter proper, I was talking a lot about WordPress and web development. And when I decided to switch, I sent like a 3 or 4 email sequence. It's like, hey, you joined this list to learn WordPress. I have changed what I'm talking about. Here is a massive unsubscribe button. I could not make it easier if you don't care about what I'm about to talk about, which was like podcasting and automation, which is still what I do today. Unsubscribe. Very few people. I still have a lot of people on my list from those first few, from those first couple of years. And when I ask why, they're like, you share, you are genuine, right? Everything that you just said. So I can't discount, I can't, don't discount being genuine and being open with people, because that does build trust, especially in a world where it's like, AI, write my newsletter for me.
Ew.
Ew, yes. See, I knew you'd be a great guest. So the last question I want to ask you on this is, you saw before we started recording how tangled up my brain gets when thinking through implementation.
Mm.
You decided one day to launch this membership. You launched it. How did you deliver it?
Oh, you all are going to love this. It was a Google Drive, y'all. It was a link to a Google document. So I have spent a lot of time before I even started a business learning to have like a bias towards action, right? And that's something I think a lot of entrepreneurs don't have when they get started, but once they get rolling, they have to learn that, right? We just have to take action. We have to ship. I think what's his name? Seth Godin. He always talks about like just ship it, just ship it.
Yeah.
And so mind you, like I had this is my third business, right? So I had spent a lot of time just shipping, honestly, a lot of garbage. And see, so I knew that this was going to be good. And I even said in that Can I Have $9 email, hey, when you sign up, nothing is going to happen. I have to go get my daughter off the school bus. And this is just an idea and I'm not going to do it unless people purchase. So when you sign up, nothing's going to happen, but I promise you'll have something by 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, right? Again, that transparency, right? Just telling it like it is, just saying, hey, this is my idea. It's $9. Why not try it? You've been on my list for a while. You got a little bit of trust to know that I'm not going to just steal your $9, right? So the next morning I got up super early because I'd made at that point, 20 sales. I'm like, oh, sweet, 20 times 9, whatever that is. I'm like, oh my gosh, I made over $100. That's amazing, right? So, that got my butt out of bed. I wrote the template, right? So it was deliver a template, a weekly newsletter. You don't know how to write your newsletter. I know how to write it. Fill in the blanks, Mad Lib style, right? And so I wrote the template in a Google Doc and I just sent it out in a Google Doc. I didn't even think about, well, I got to get a membership site. I got to do this, passwords, Y'all, it's 20 people. Am I with 800 people on my list? I'm a nobody, right? Am I worried about people stealing from me at this point? No, I can't beg people to find me and steal from me right now. I'm desperate to be found, right? I'm spending all day, every day trying to get found on the internet. You think somebody's going to steal from me? No. So, and I did that, the Google Doc, Google Drive thing every single week for 52 weeks. Once at 1 year, I had hit 1,000 members, which is actually insane.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And so I was making, about $9,000 a month, right? Oh my gosh, that's so, still to this day, it's almost 5 years and it still blows my mind.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, maybe I should put this behind a paywall. Maybe this should be a little more organized. And so to Joe and his WordPress days, I used all free plugins on WordPress to create passwords and to make a membership, quote, site, right? And I used that for a whole nother year until I needed to upgrade to something a little fancier when we had 3,000 members in 2 years. So I just allowed the membership to grow as I grew instead of, putting it in, big girl shoes and hoping that the feet grow, right?
Yeah.
I just was like, well, we're going to just do what works right now until enough people complain and then we'll upgrade. And I still do that to this day.
That's so good. I love that. I was talking to my friend Kat Mulvihill. I don't know if you met her at at Creator Camp as well. But she has always complimented me on my bias towards action, despite my neuroses for implementation. I've learned a lot of tools so that I can still implement quickly. But what you said like really reinforces things I've been saying for a long time, which is like, we're not building skyscrapers. We're building on the internet, and we can iterate as often as we want. And then don't ask or don't answer questions people aren't asking, right? Like, you did what is easiest for you. And then when you saw a need, right? It doesn't have to be perfect, right? I think the other thought I had while you were talking is, I think we're always worried about people's expectations, but people have the expectations that you set, right? So like, you set the expectation that, hey, you're going to pay for something and it's not going to get delivered right now. It will be delivered by 8 a.m. tomorrow. And as long as that happens, you still have people's trust.
Yeah, let's talk about that just for 1 second, because I know that there's somebody out there like, oh my gosh, Liz, 3,000 members at $9. All of these people must be sucking the life out of you, right? Like, we always hear like low ticket means high maintenance people. Y'all, I could not have experienced anything further from that. My people are so awesome. But I think it's what Joe said. I'm constantly setting that expectation. Hey, you're paying $9 for this, right? If somebody, hits reply, hey, Liz, my login's not working. And of course, we've since, replaced logins. We've upgraded things. But I always say something like, oh my gosh, we're working on this. And it's true. We are. We're all, obviously we don't want people's logins to be breaking.
Right.
Thank you for being patient while we look for a solution that can maintain this $9 price tag.
Ooh.
That sets the expectation, that reminds them, hey, you're paying $9 for this.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, we're not, and I say with love, we're not Amy Porterfield, we're not Pat Flynn, charging you $50 to $300 a month for a membership. You're getting this content for $9. This content is well worth $9, like bare minimum, right?
Yeah.
One page of this website is worth $9, right? And there's hundreds of pages. And people always come back, oh my gosh, yes, I love this membership. It's my favorite purchase every single month. It just kind of resets that tone, that expectation. And I even put that in our onboarding. When you join, I say things like, nowadays we have a membership site where the videos, we cannot turn off the autoplay. Please mute your computer if that annoys you. It annoys us too. We have absolutely no way of changing it at this time.
Yeah.
Wow, aren't you getting a steal for $9? And so I'm always saying that. Even in my week, y'all, I send out a weekly email with the template, and I'm always reiterating the $9 price tag to reiterate those expectations of, you're so smart for getting this for $9. Or, whoops, we sent out the link. I guess that's what you get when you only pay $9. It's a circus show back here or whatever. And people love it. Setting that expectation, to Joe's point, is so important, and it really can set the absolute tone for your business.
If you've been listening to this show, you know that streamlining your business isn't just about process. It's about having the right tools in your stack. That's why you need to check out the Black Friday and Cyber Monday sales happening right now with Liquid Web's family of brands. We're talking a massive 30 to 50% discount across the board. Now, you've heard me talk about Liquid Web and their family of brands, and I absolutely love and use their tools for my entire online presence. Whether you're building an online course with LearnDash, planning a fundraiser with GiveWP, managing a busy scheduled the event calendar, or you just need a beautiful, fast, accessible website with cadence, there is a deal for you here. Stop trying to cobble together free tools that don't talk to each other. Get the premium plugins that power the pros. Check the link in the show notes to see the full list of Black Friday deals and upgrade your business toolkit today. Thanks so much to Liquid Web for sponsoring this podcast. Yeah, so good. Okay, so fast forward 5 years. If I do my math right, you launched this membership during the pandemic.
Yeah, February 16th, 2021. Best day of my life.
Nice. I love that. It's like a $500,000 membership now.
Correct.
And I want to dig in on one thing that you said when you launched, which was, I have to go pick up my daughter, right? You're running a lifestyle business. You're a very present parent. How do you manage those two things?
I have worked really hard on learning to say no and focusing on money-making activities alone. Y'all, Joe and I met at a place called Creator Camp, okay? It's Ecamm, if you've ever heard of Ecamm, like amazing live streaming and recording software, okay? I've been using it since 2017.
Wow.
Right? Yeah, I've been one of the OGs. Now, Ecamm has a lot of features, okay? I only know how to use a few, okay? Because I've had to say no to learning new features because I got to go pick up my kid. I got to do this. I go to Creator Camp every year. I've been there every year. I learn one new little thing every year, and maybe I implement it. Maybe I just tell people that you can do it and join with my affiliate link, right?
Yeah.
But the point is, it's not a money-making activity for me to increase my audio quality, to set up my camera. The money-making activity is just hitting record and sending that recording out. And again, setting that expectation of, hey, my recording could be better, but the content is really good, so I hope you listen to it anyway, right? And so learning to say no to things, even if it would make it a smidge better, just knowing when good enough is good enough. And then being really intentional about those money-making activities. I go to Creator Camp. Why? Because I meet awesome people. Joe and I, we've met each other the last couple of years. Now I'm on his podcast. Maybe you join my email list. It was worth it, right? That was a money-making activity, right? Just really super focused on that. And then also creating a membership that is low cost, because that means low responsibility. Of course, I take my members and my students very seriously. Like I said, creating that membership, that was the best day of my life. Y'all, I have a child. I didn't say giving birth to her was the best day of my life. Joe, you can't see him, but he literally almost just fell out.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, not that I don't love my child. Obviously, I do. That was just a lot of pain, right? Yeah. Creating the membership was actually really simple and easy and didn't cause me any physical or emotional trauma. Yeah. Okay, so that's all I'm saying.
I want to say, I'm a dad of 3, and I didn't catch that. I was like, yeah, of course, that's amazing. When you said that's the best day of my life, I was like, yeah, obviously.
Obviously, we're entrepreneurs. It worked. It was your best idea, Liz.
Yeah.
What was the point of that? I don't remember. The point?
Balancing.
Yes. The point is the membership is low responsibility, right? I can say, maybe I've got 10 people in the inbox asking me questions about the membership, right? Or asking me questions about email. I can say, well, for $9, I got to go pick up my kid and I can answer that tomorrow. They can wait, right? When I was taking clients, I didn't feel like I could do that. I mean, whether or not that's true, that's up to you to decide. But I felt like, oh, you're paying me $10,000. I need to answer that question in the next 10 minutes, right? That, I can't go to bed without, fulfilling that promise that I've made to them. I can go to bed I sleep so good. I sleep like a baby. And most people, with that $9 price tag, understand that they're getting incredible value. Most people, oh, Liz, I can't believe you personally emailed me back, things like that. But I get that makes it fun for me.
Yeah.
And so I've created this business where I can turn off the computer, where before, when I was taking clients, selling very high ticket items, I felt like I was chained to the computer and, my personal life came second because of that.
Yeah. When we set a price that feels good and manage the expectation, we can build for the life that we want to have. And I've done the same thing in recent years.
That's so awesome. And yeah, I mean, whether the feeling is true or not, the feeling is valid, right? If you
Yeah.
feel the pressure is there. You
Right.
can tell yourself it doesn't matter all day, but if you feel that it matters, it's going to. And for me, creating this business and even, bringing on my sister, who she helps tremendously now. But it's still just my sister and myself as the employees of the business, as the ones running the membership. And that to me also feels good. That, I'm giving my sister a job where her boss isn't a total douche. Can I say that? Sorry.
You could say that, yeah.
Giving her, bonuses and things when I feel like she needs it or she deserves it. That just feels so, so good. And it allows me, she's really good at keeping my boundaries of saying like, oh no, we're not doing any more interviews right now. Or, oh no, Liz, you need that day off because don't forget your kid has, isn't going to school that day. So we're not going to schedule anything for that day. Like that has also super duper helped. I mean, it doesn't have to be your sister, but having a reliable person, right-hand man, so to speak, that enforces those boundaries even when you tend to break them. Like this year, we're not doing podcast interviews. Guess what? I was hanging out with Joe. Yeah, I'll do your podcast. I'm the one that typically breaks the boundary where, my assistant / sister / life manager, she always keeps it.
Yeah. That's really important, right? Because again, you bias towards action. And so when you see something like, I should act, you need somebody to be like, should you act though? Like, shouldn't you? My mastermind group is really good at that. I'm like, I'm thinking about this. And they're like, why? And I'm like, well, because I want to. They're like, right. So think that through more. Because it came into
my head. I'm thinking about it. What do you mean, why?
What do you mean,
That's
why?
That's so awesome. Yeah, we all need that group of people or that person that, wrangles us in. Because we're entrepreneurs, right? We're visionaries. We have lots of ideas. We want to seize every opportunity. So it's important, especially in times when you lack discipline, to have those friends, mastermind members, family, whatever, to be like, hey, actually, you said your objective was this. And, now you're messing it all up. So just thought you should know.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because it is easier to give advice than take your own advice, and having it given back to you is a good quality in a friend to have. I always tell my friends, I'm like, don't worry about hurting my feelings. I might look hurt because I wear my feelings on my face, but tell me what I need to hear. I'd rather hear it and be hurt temporarily.
Amen.
So, yeah. Now, and I mean, you like really live your values, right? Because you have your daughter, you've hired your sister, you are supporting multiple other folks with this business that you've built. So I want to, there's no question here. I just want to mention this because I'm sick of hearing about hustle culture and, hey, skip recitals. If you want to make money, skip recitals. And I'm like, cool. If you don't want to have friends or family or a life, like, I don't know. Like Ebenezer Scrooge didn't even want to have on his tombstone, like, died alone but had money, right? Like he was like, oh, this is bad. Yeah.
Yeah. And that comes back to just being intentional. Of course, when I first started this membership, I was hustling, right? But I just knew that this was not in alignment with what I wanted, what I believed, and also unsustainable, really, just clearly unsustainable. And so for a while, I mean, truth be told, when I launched the membership, I was still taking clients. I had quite a bit of client work, actually. And it was a little bit of a grind, but it's because I believed in my offer. I believed in myself. I believed that this wasn't forever. I was able to push for a while. And I was getting up at 4 a.m. to work on client stuff, getting up, getting the kid on the bus, coming back, doing a little bit of client work. But here's the difference. I didn't let the client work consume me. Again, I was very intentional. So there were at least 2 hours a day where I was working on LizWilcox.com, where I was making sure, okay, I need to push out the membership. I need to write a newsletter. I need to reach out to Joe to see if we're still going to do that podcast. Things like that. I made sure to do, even if it felt like I was behind on the client work, because I knew my values, right? Even if I wasn't living them fully in that moment, I knew my values. I knew family comes first. I knew also rest. Oh my gosh, please let me rest. That's a value of mine.
Yeah.
And so I knew if I didn't take myself seriously and put myself on the calendar, no one else was going to. And I was always going to be in this perpetual cycle of client work, putting other people first, having to tell my daughter, no, we can't go do that. I have to do this, right? And that sucks, man. She's a lot bigger now, but back in the day, her little puppy dog face was like, oh man, I do want to go to the beach, baby, but I also want to pay this electric bill,
Yeah.
That sucks. And so putting myself on the calendar, getting up a little earlier every day for, I think it was about 6 to 8 months, grinding, hustling, whatever, that was something that I had to do. But I knew that I was laying the bricks, setting that foundation for this is temporary. If you don't give yourself a timeline, if you don't give yourself the time of day, it's, you might say that you have these values, but, you're not really living in them.
Yeah. Yeah. I really like that. And really important, right? It's not never hustle. It's don't or never grind, whatever you want to say. Like, don't sacrifice everything for the sake of making money, right? I think that's like, because I don't want people to hear what you're not saying, right? I definitely want them to hear what you are saying.
Right. And let's unpack that a little even further of, y'all, if anybody knows, the desperation for cash, it's Liz Wilcox. Don't let the, it's just $9, $500,000 fool you. When I started this membership, I was desperate for money. Y'all, I have supported my mom financially, either fully or partly, since I was 16 years old. I had 2 jobs in high school to get around labor laws, okay?
Wow.
Because we needed money. My family needed money. Like when I started my business, I lived in an RV, and the $400 lot rent felt like a lot, okay? So I know what it's like to feel like, okay, well, that's great. The puppy dog eyes, that's super cute. Yeah, I want to go to the beach. But like, I joked about the electric bill, but that's real. Okay. I literally paid 3 electric bills this morning before 6 a.m. Okay. Whew, that felt so good to just get that out of the way in the first week of the month. So I don't say any of this like, I understand like I'm very privileged now, but I haven't always been. And I understand that sometimes you have to grind, you have to do this, you have to do that. You need money. It doesn't matter if you need rest. You have to work. I totally 100% understand that. And that's one of the reasons I keep my prices so low, right? We mentioned that at the very top of the hour. But again, it just comes back to that intentionality, putting your values in the forefront and saying, okay, well, I have to hustle right now, but I know I don't want to forever. So what are some creative ways I can change this? And that's how I came up with that $9 a month membership.
Yeah, I love that. Now, you did do something that a lot of entrepreneurs don't do, in that you took off, what was it, 60, 90 days, something like that?
Yeah, actually, every summer I take 3 months off. It started with I got cast on this little show called Survivor. Maybe you've heard of it. Please don't Google me, baby. Finish the podcast first. I'm really cool, I swear.
Yeah, stay here.
It was edited, I swear. So I went on Survivor and I applied. I always knew that I could get on that show. I'm just that kind of weirdo, just that kind of, really gritty weirdo, right?
Yeah.
Perfect combo. And so when I applied, I just knew I was going to get on the show. So I was and I knew that I was going to have to be gone for a month or 2 months, right? So I immediately started working on taking myself out of the business. Again, this is perfect talking about intentionality. I knew I didn't want to always be in the business, and Survivor actually helped me see like, oh, I actually don't need to be in the business that much. I can batch this content. I can ask trusted peers to come in and fill in for live Q&As for a month or two. And, I went on the show. I didn't worry about the business at all. In fact, I was able to take 100 days off to go on the show, recover from the show, emotionally, physically, all of that. And in those 100 days, I made $100,000. It's just so dumb. It just like I say it and I'm like, holy crap.
That's wild.
Like, I want to learn from that lady. Like, it's so wild. But the point is, I've set up that membership. I've set up the business with people that I trust, my sister, and I've done, contractors and such during the summertime. So she has support. I'm able to, hustle for a little bit, right? If I'm taking June, July, August off, yep. May is a busy month for me because I'm batching all that content. I'm making sure my customers know, hey, I'm going to be away, but here's who's replacing me. Here's why you should trust them. If there's an absolute emergency, don't worry, you're going to be taken care of, et cetera. So it's been super, super awesome. I've done it 3 years in a row now. Actually,
this would be taking summers off, not Survivor.
Taking summers off. 3 years in a row now I haven't worked. Yeah. This podcast, my first thing. No, I'm kidding. So 3 summers in a row. It's been super amazing. We tend to make more money when I'm not around, probably because I'm not switching up the game constantly. We're sticking to a plan, right? All my entrepreneur friends know. That's a true mark of entrepreneurship, okay? And it works really, really well. And honestly, the more you do it, the easier it becomes because you can really, truly rinse and repeat as long as you're always growing your audience. You can use an email that you wrote a year ago, 2 years ago. I'm doing that right now. I sent out an email right before Joe and I hit record. I wrote that email 2 years ago. I just zhuzhed it up, made sure the links were proper, and hit send. And it's probably going to have like a 50% open rate. It's going to be great.
Click one, please, and thank you.
Yep, that's the email. Great subject line, right?
Yeah, so good. I open every single one of your emails. Like, the subject lines are just so like they seem genuine, right? Like it's not like optimized for clicks or whatever. It's like feels good. I got the "Can I have $9" email, right? Like,
yeah, I love that. Yeah, it's just optimized for Joe. It's optimized for Liz. It's optimized for Shahara. Like, just for somebody who's my email buddy and we love talking about email together, and click one, please, and thank you. That's what I would really say in real life.
Yeah. Did it have any additional impacts by putting you in a national spotlight?
Yeah. So the typical, oh my gosh, you must have gotten a lot of new followers or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Wrong. It's Survivor. It's not email marketing on an island,
Right.
But I will say Survivor in the very first episode did actually show me saying, I teach people how to make money on the internet with email marketing. I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is great. So I actually have had people join, and, it's been about a year and a half since the airing ended. And, people trickle in, oh, I found you through Survivor. So, yes, it did grow the business in that way. But honestly, going on Survivor was probably the worst thing I could have ever done for my business. Not because I had a weird edit or, I had a major meltdown on national TV, whatever. My people loved it, to be honest. They were like, oh, Liz, we knew you were real, but wow, you really don't care and we love it. Yeah. But it was so physically and emotionally taxing on me that it has taken me about 2.5 years. It's been about 2.5 years since I've been home. And I'm honestly, in the last 30 to 60 days, finally feel like I'm coming out of a fog. I do have a lot of food issues, and I tend to have a very sensitive body, not to be super woo-woo. That's what my doctor says. Yeah. Medical doctor, not the woo-woo one. And so it really caused a deep impact on my body. I lost like 14% of my body weight in 25 days. I still have not ever gained that muscle back. And it just, and then the emotional side of it, right? Having to watch it back. Spoiler alert, I lost. I came very, very close. You would never know it by the edit. But I was the last person eliminated from the competition. And maybe like you listening, I'm very competitive. Maybe that's why we started entrepreneurship, right? Like if I want something, I go out and get it, right? 100 people in the first 30 days. That's what I said I wanted in my membership. That's what I got. So to be honest and vulnerable, losing was incredibly hard for me. And it took a long time to get over. And I was trying to compensate with my business, but I was also still experiencing incredible brain fog. To be honest, I was getting crazy death threats. I got reported to the IRS. So it was just incredibly emotionally taxing. And I feel like 2.5 years later, I finally have detached myself, and it's all fun and games. What it's supposed to be, it's all fun and games now. And I feel like I'm just coming back to the business fully, like the Liz Wilcox that launched that membership almost 5 years ago. She's back, baby. She's back in a big way. And I'm excited for the membership to grow at the rate that it did in those first few years before Survivor.
This is, I wanted to really I'm glad you drove that point home. That it's like, I think people are like, I'm going to get in front of a lot of people and it's going to be great for my business. And like getting in front of the right people is so much better than getting in front of a lot of people.
Oh, yeah. I mean, y'all, Survivor airs in 125 countries. It is probably the largest show of all time, other than like the NFL, right?
Yeah.
I think the finale of the first season is still like the number 1 or number 2 most watched thing ever on the planet. Okay.
Yeah.
Like Survivor, yes,
that.
it's still on.
I feel so old.
Right. You might not even know that it was still on, but yes, it's still on and it's watched, and it's still the number 1 show that's watched on television. Like actually you turn on the TV and you watch it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was in front of millions of people every single day for, 6 months. And, maybe I've gotten 1,000 subscribers from that. Okay, yeah. That's a terrible conversion rate. But, I'm going to be on Joe's podcast. You're listening to this. Maybe you join. You feel, some warmth from me. You want to learn more about email. You want to check out how I actually sell that $9 thing, right? That's worth way more than one person who watches Survivor and, wants a closer look at Liz.
Yeah, love that. And so let's wrap up here with, you mentioned you're excited to be back and continue with the membership. I assume, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it sounds like it's going to stay at $9 a month.
Amen.
Amen. What are your plans for the membership? Like, how do you keep it? Because I think there's a pressure with memberships to be like, I got to deliver. I think you've set the expectation that it's like, the things I deliver are very valuable, but I feel like there's still probably something in your brain that's like, how do I keep this feeling fresh for people who have been around for a long time?
I love that. So they call me the Fresh Princess, right? So I'm constant. Even I got fresh in the background. Like I love keeping things fresh. So every year I do sort of refresh the membership in that I do a lot of live events, right? So based on what I'm hearing, how I'm feeling about the year is going to go, I'll do live events. So in January, I always do like a live welcome sequence workshop. Every year, You should be refreshing your welcome sequence. So that's coming. This year and next year, I feel like we as entrepreneurs really need to focus on audience building, right? So I'm introducing list building challenges, how to get people off social media, how to network so you can get on people's podcasts, things like that. I'll be introducing short challenges just to get people going. And honestly, something that I'm introducing just to people that are on that annual plan, I'm introducing quarterly planning sessions. So we'll do, hey, I know I send you a weekly template, but you have to be the one that plans out, when you're going to sell something, right? I can't do that for you. Well, now I can do it with you. So we're doing quarterly planning sessions where, hey, for the next 90 days, what do you want from your email list? Are you just going to focus on connecting? Are you going to focus on getting your clicks up? Do you need to get replies or do you need to make sales? Let's map that out together. And I'll also be doing quarterly brainstorming sessions. A lot of my people, again, they're newbies. They're in those first 0 to 3 years. or 0 to 3 years of just working on their email list. And so we're going to do offer brainstorming sessions where you come in, tell me about your audience, tell me about what lights you up, tell me what you're good at. Let's create an offer together. And I did that for Black Friday in 2025. And wow, it was the most fun I think I've ever had on the internet. We were all dying laughing. We were all feeling good about selling, which is a miracle, right? And people are so excited for their Black Friday offers. And I was like, we need to do this all the time. So that's what I'm doing to kind of reintroduce or refresh the membership and also reintroduce Liz Wilcox into the membership, because I feel like, I've been there, but honestly, I've been really, really sick since the since the taping of Survivor, which has now been 2.5 years. And I feel like I'm back fully. And I want people to know, hey, I know it's $9, but I actually care a lot. So come hang out with me. Let me show you how much I care. Let me, hold your hand and let's do this together. Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I can say, confirmed here, I joined on Black Friday. This episode
Booyah.
comes out shortly after. So, yeah, awesome. Liz, this has been awesome. If people want to learn more about you, maybe join a mailing list or something like that, where can they find you?
Yeah, of course, I'm an email marketer. I want you to join my list. You can go directly to lizwilcox.com. In the top right-hand corner, you can't miss it. There's a hot pink button. It's going to give you an entire welcome sequence already written for you, 3 newsletter samples from that membership we've been going on about, and 52 subject lines. Writing from scratch totally sucks. Let me do it for you. lizwilcox.com, hot pink button. And spoiler alert, if you join the list, you hit that hot pink button, you put your name and address in there, it's going to take you to a site that you can get the membership for $1. Okay? So if you want to check that out for $1, that's how you do it. All right. Thanks so much, Joe.
Thanks, Liz, for being here. Thanks, everyone, for listening. And until next time, I hope you find some space in your week.